We're living in the age of the digital ventriloquist. Millions surrender their voices to algorithms that speak on their behalf. Dating apps deploy AI to craft the perfect message to potential lovers. Publishing companies watch AI systems regurgitate their authors' works without compensation. Scientists generate research visualizations without understanding the underlying data. The puppet show is in full swing. But who controls the strings? The Guardian reported last week that AI wingmen currently coach 4.9 million dating app users in the UK. In America, that number explodes to 60.5 million. These systems, they write profiles, they select photos, they craft messages, all to optimize your desirability in the digital meat market. Dr. Luke Brunning, quoted in the article, warns about the complete absence of regulatory protections. Dating has transformed from a very human, very meaningful interaction into an algorithmic optimization problem. Now, Toby Walsh, an AI researcher with 4 decades of experience, calls out another dimension of this ventriloquism in The Guardian. He describes tech companies training AI models on copyrighted books as, quote, the greatest heist in human history. OpenAI, Google, and Meta all feed their algorithms millions of books without permission or payment. Now, Walsh compares this to the Napster moment of publishing. And if you know what Napster is, my friends, we might be around the same age. The difference here is that Napster users knew that they were downloading pirated music. AI companies, however, launder intellectual property through their algorithms and then sell it back as innovation. Meanwhile, MIT reports that scientists are increasingly using generative AI, like DAL-E, to visualize research. Now, these AI generated images get described as cartoon like or not passing as reality or documentation, but, they're useful for illustration. Scientific communication, in this sense, now is operating through simulations of understanding rather than understanding itself. Now, Baudrillard saw this coming decades ago. His concept of hyperreality, where simulations become more real than what they simulate, perfectly captures our current predicament. Dating profiles are simulating desirability. AI content generators are simulating creativity. Scientific visualizations are simulating understanding. The map is preceding the territory. The simulation is driving the reality. Now, consider what happens to authenticity when your romantic self-expression gets optimized by an algorithm. The dating app doesn't care about your relationship. It doesn't even sell better relationships. It sells better performance metrics. Success means matches, not connection. The system optimizes for engagement, not happiness. You become a sort of a product that's been meticulously refined through data analytics rather than a person engaged in self discovery. And the implications for creative work appear even more dire. Writers, artists, and musicians all face a very existential threat. Their work gets absorbed into training data sets, processed without attribution, and then reproduced without compensation. The economic foundation of cultural production crumbles while tech companies build trillion-dollar valuations on completely stolen intellectual property. Now, even our relationship with scientific truth has changed. When AI generates scientific visualizations, it severs the connection between representation and understanding. Scientists communicate through images that they themselves didn't create, representing data patterns they might not even fully understand themselves. The scientific paper then becomes something of a collection of simulations rather than a direct representation of reality, something that science ought to be focused on. Now, Hannah Arendt recognized speech and action are the ways that humans reveal their unique identities. Our words disclose who we are. But what happens when the algorithms are speaking for us? Authenticity, I think, disappears into marketplace performance. The self becomes something to optimize rather than something to express. The investors and founders in my community here listening probably see massive market opportunities here. Oh, it's a gold mine. Dating app companies monetizing loneliness through AI assistance. Mwah, chef's kiss. Content generation platforms profiting from regurgitating existing creative works. Give me more. Scientific visualization tools selling shortcuts to understanding. Oh, baby. The ventriloquist economy booms. But markets create incentives, and incentives shape behaviors. The market for AI mediated self presentation rewards inauthenticity. The market for AI generated content devalues originality. The market for scientific visualization privileges appearance over understanding. We're optimizing ourselves right out of our humanity. Dating, in this case, becomes a marketplace, literally a meat market, rather than a real human connection. Profiles get designed for algorithmic appeal rather than authentic expression. Messages follow optimized templates rather than real, genuine, meaningful interest. Dating apps track engagement metrics, not emotional well being. The algorithm says you're doing great while you feel increasingly isolated. It never asks you, how are you doing? It tells you, keep up this process because you will be optimized. Now, writers, on the other hand, are watching their industry transform into almost an arms race of SEO optimization and AI friendly content. The economic value of human creativity is plummeting, while tech companies monopolize the means of distribution. Content, in this case, becomes a commodity that's detached from human experience. And scientists, the vanguard of our human discovery and exploration, are facing increased pressure to produce eye catching visualizations, regardless of their relationship to empirical reality. Scientific communication is now drifting towards what looks like something that's more compelling rather than what accurately represents and reflects the data. Appearance here is trumping substance. And so the philosophical question echoes across all of these domains. What happens to human capacity when we no longer need to develop it ourselves? What happens to authentic self presentation when AI does all the heavy lifting? What happens to creativity when it severs from human experience or scientific understanding when visualization separates from empirical engagement? Think the ventriloquist economy here constructs a radical inversion of human autonomy that philosophers like, I think, Heidegger and Foucault would recognize instantly. We witness the emergence of what Heidegger called inframing, where human expression becomes raw material, fodder for technological processing, rather than an authentic disclosure of self. The algorithms don't simply assist us, they reconstitute us as computable objects optimized for market performance. Now consider the philosophical perversion at work here. In the realm of dating, eros, that fundamental force that Plato identified as driving us towards beauty and truth, degrades into an optimization problem. In creative work, poiesis, the bringing forth of something new into the world, the actual bringing into the world, transforms into database extraction and recombination. And scientific visualization, episteme, the knowledge grounded in a direct, visceral, specific apprehension of reality, mutates into a spectacular simulation disconnected from any empirical understanding. Now, these changes, these developments, I think they reflect more than just technological advancement. They represent an ontological shift in human existence itself. The AI Ventriloquist Act establishes a new metaphysics where appearance supersedes essence, where performance metrics replace lived experience, where simulation precedes reality. We train machines to mimic human expression while simultaneously unlearning the very capacities that make expression meaningful. Now, Silicon Valley evangelists may preach individual enhancement through technological augmentation, but the stark reality here is that mass diminishment through delegated humanity. Every capability we outsource to AI erodes the developmental struggle necessary for authentic human becoming. Dating apps with AI assistants don't make you more romantic, they manufacture a simulacrum of connection optimized for engagement rather than intimacy. AI content generation doesn't enhance creativity, it renders unnecessary the essential struggle with language and meaning that constitutes genuine creation. This ventriloquist act reveals our culture's fundamental contradiction. Our obsession with optimization fundamentally misunderstands what makes human life meaningful. Meaning emerges precisely from the friction, the struggle, the inefficiency of human experience, the very elements that our algorithms are working hard to eliminate. The perfectly optimized dating profile produces the perfectly hollow connection. The perfectly generated content contains perfectly vacuous meaning. And the perfectly rendered scientific visualization conveys perfectly empty understanding. We face a stark choice right now between technological convenience and authentic human becoming. The ventriloquist economy sells us a commodified version of ourselves, an optimized performance of humanity that ultimately hollows out the very experiences it claims to enhance. The more we delegate our humanity to algorithms, the less human we become. The puppet show grows more sophisticated, while the puppets forget that they ever had their own voice. I'm Michael Koenka for Nasty, Brutish, and Short. Join us next week as we continue exploring the philosophical frontiers of technology and what it means to be a human in an increasingly artificial world. Stay safe, stay happy, stay curious, and stay critical. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.